So a few of you guys have asked me to do a tutorial on doing hair and stuff, and so I figured that some of you probably need it more than others, but you know who you are. So just kind of wanted to talk things through and sort of explain, you know, this is the level of professionalism you can expect here. So since I can't be bothered to do it on the computer, we're doing this the hard way. Excuse me. So of course you need to start with a head, and perhaps that's a tutorial for another day, but scratching in a quick one here. That should be good for the time being, at least. Forgive me, I'm not much of an orator, but so when it comes to drawing hair, you need to remember the hairline and where it actually attaches to the head. One of the important things to remember is that hair isn't a single mass, but it's also not necessarily an individual set of threads, so to speak. They tend to collect in a mass known as a tract, which is, it's a patch, basically. And these tracts have particular orientations and directions that they go. You can find these in all sorts of animals and people and whatnot. So, generally remember that it's sort of like that intermediary step between individuals and a collective. So, there's a bit of a joke about anime hair being genetic, and to some extent it is a little bit true. More or less. It's not so much necessarily the haircut itself, but the natural way that the hair falls. So for Shizuka here, she and her mother have this really distinctive cross to the front parts of their bangs. It's not as though they intentionally style it that way, but that's just sort of the natural way that it falls. Now, there are some cases where, for example, Shizuka's haircut, you see that she has it pinned off to the side even if it's not immediately apparent. So generally you won't see the bobby pin much, but it is there if you ever want to get more anal retentive about it like I do. So just kind of keep remembering that both the style and the direction, the way that hair goes and where it comes from. Some people have a part up the side like Chizuru does, or most of the time down the middle or to the other side. Sometimes they have a widow's peak like Jaeger or whatnot. So even when it's like much longer, these tracts can still be seen. Hence what creates this feathering effect that you will see in everybody, no matter how straight or square their bangs are cut. There will always be this little feathering to it. But it's also important to remember hair texture. Shizuka's is mostly straight, but there's sort of this precedent of there being a curve to it. For example, mine fall into ringlets, and some characters have wavy, flat, straight. Chizuru's is really wiry and will stand up on its own, so it's important to remember hair texture along with direction and style. But it's just sort of the general gist of drawing when it comes to structure. Now, I'm just going to rough in the line work here a bit, so we can get into the stage of coloring, which is a bit of a different beast. I think I'll cut the recording here and be back with you when it's done, because